triple W's.
Bawoobs indeed.
Bawoobs, all right. Oh, hold on. I got to think about one of these answers really quick because I forgot why I wrote the question. Do you have a good answer for have you ever dumped someone?
I don't.
Let's save it.
But I thought I was...
Do you feel like you could do foreign accent syndrome on this one?
Yeah, I probably could.
Okay.
I can play ball. All right.
Hold on.
Already threw one beer, Chris. I mean, at this pace.
This pace, Jake will be back by the time we start recording.
Going to California, Jake. You don't have plans like that.
Who goes to California after their birthday?
He didn't send a picture of himself next to the plane window. It was just the plane window. All right, Jake.
Right,
Show me a
any
picture
plane
of
window.
yourself in California with
also,
today's newspaper.
I was also really annoyed that he had an open seat and was sitting in the middle still.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, unless they just loaded. But if it's been a while,
It was in the air.
Oh, that's
Yeah, he looked like he
There
was
was
above
clouds.
the clouds. Yeah,
Yeah,
like nobody's getting on it.
that's outrageous.
doing, bro.
The Jim Carrey
I mean, because
character.
either he's got the whole row, and he's, well, I guess, yeah, if you sit in the middle, you can just either leg both of those.
Yeah.
He's a tall fella.
Yeah, he's a tall guy, son of a bitch.
I'm not jealous.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not as prepared for the Tinderella questions as I usually am, but
I think he'll be okay.
I also think I wrote 3 of them.
I mean, 2 of them are breakfast questions. That should work.
I'm also a little spooked because last episode I fucking biffed on one of my own questions. Like, I threw myself the meat pitch and swung and missed.
Well, I thought we edited that out.
It was one of these.
We took care of that in post.
Missed that.
Yeah, I did. Completely I still don't know what my intended answer was. So now I've had to resort to writing down where my punches are supposed to be, which feels really lame.
Yeah. No, that's kind of like a memento thing. I'm trying to find the killer / remember my joke.
Ready?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you guys are cranking.
Oh, are we recording right
Yeah,
now?
my bad. I thought I said that already. That's my bad.
Oh, this is...
All right.
We should leave in
You do a hard
the
stop
front.
start, so it's
No, leave it. Just leave it. Cole can edit.
Yeah,
Cole
I'll
can
figure it
fucking
out.
edit, dude. This is all good banter. We can use it for something.
Yeah.
Okay. 3,
You ready?
2, 1. Hey there. Welcome back to the Second Lunch Podcast. God knows what episode number this is. Let's just move on. Stop counting. We're going to go to infinity or until one of us dies. So I hope if I die,
So at least a few years.
you carry on without me.
I don't know. We'll see what my cardiac state is like at that stage.
What if we both die at the same time on the podcast?
I mean, with our cardiac health, not impossible.
Yeah, so we figured a couple things out. Thank you to Cole's cousin. I don't know how she feels about being addressed by name. So
Yeah,
we
thank
won't
you,
do
Heather.
that. But Heather figured out that our links don't fucking work. So I fixed our links. You can now buy our koozies more easily than Heather really went through it to find the link to actually buy our koozies. And I didn't find this out until after I had already shipped them. So Heather, you got some Second Lunch swag coming your way. In the future, we got stickers, T-shirts, bumper stickers, stuff coming. I don't know. Basically, I'm dumb and I copy and pasted not links. So anyhow, let's rock and roll.
All right, Chris, I'm going to start you off with, do boring people make you mad?
Furious. I cannot. It's the most insulting thing you can do to me is be fucking boring. Coming around me with nothing interesting to say. There's this person in my family, and I'm not going to say who it is. And I doubt they have the self-awareness to figure this out, or they wouldn't be so goddamn boring. But they are so boring. Like, there's nothing interesting about them at all. They come around, they tell me about their boring fucking. They make me want to fall asleep. Like it's actually physically draining.
I need an example though. I need what's
the examples are going to give it away, and I know that they listen to the podcast, which makes this even worse. But it's just that it's so boring to talk to them because I can just feel myself like needing a nap the more the conversation goes on.
Are they delivering it in a boring style? Like, do they maybe have interesting things to say, but
what is it, oscillation
monotone?
in your voice kind of?
Yeah, you change
None of that.
Okay.
None of that.
Yeah,
and very kind of soft-spoken, a very nice, kind, good person. Fucking cannot stand being around him for too terrible. Like, there's got to be other people there, or I just feel like energy vampire, but like not even in a like goading you into like boring conversation kind of way, just being boring at you. It fucking hurts, dude.
See, being the boring dull guy, speaking monotone, that's one thing. I think it's a little different if you're enthusiastic about your shitty boring life and you're like, you're not going to believe this oatmeal experience. Bro, I promise you, I will. I will, in fact, believe it. But for me, the thing is, I find myself boring in too many ways that I can't get too on my high horse here. Like, one of my hobbies is reading Wikipedia. I mean, that right there is like 5-alarm fire type boredom. So
I don't know. You've brought a lot of interesting. I kept thinking about that fucking guy we talked about on the last podcast.
Phineas Gage, yeah.
What the fucking thing went through his head and then he started walking around with it. That would have been the last thing I wanted to fucking see. Something flies through my skull. I wouldn't want a fucking souvenir from the. Yeah, no. Wouldn't be walking around with it showing it off, that's for sure.
That's what makes crucifix necklaces a bit strange. I don't want to see that shit.
It's not a very good memory.
I'm trying to live my
thing
life.
To commemorate.
Yeah, exactly. Seems like you're kind of dancing on my tombstone here a little bit. If I didn't know any fucking better. All right. What's your favorite non-breakfast food to eat for breakfast?
Well, it's either cake, lemon bars, cupcakes, brownies, candy bars. Dude, growing up, man, I used to just eat shit in the morning because I'd wake up before everybody else, and it was a free-for-all. You can't stop me. And you're not even awake to catch me. I can eat whatever the fuck. Yeah, food theft time, exactly.
Prime Gushers hour.
Yeah, these rappers are going in the couch. I stole a lot of food. But, yeah, pretty much anything that wasn't breakfast. Like, I still don't really eat breakfast now. Like, I'm starting to learn, like, all right, you can, like, maybe have some eggs or something. You know what I mean? Let's not eat cake or pizza is such an easy, like, if you got leftover pizza, done deal.
That's the thing, is that this question is so, for me, rooted in the idea of me being a lazy, hungover bitch for breakfast. So my immediate thought was hot dogs. Because just launch a few of those in the microwave.
What time of day is this that you're eating a hot dog?
Breakfast time, dude. We're talking about breakfast.
Yeah, but breakfast is whenever it's your first meal, whenever that happens.
I've eaten a hot dog at 8 a.m.
Oh, my God.
Well, look, duty calls.
That is appalling.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't telling you this because I was trying to win you over. Wasn't trying to get your vote.
God, 8 a.m. hot dog. I can't even... So when do you start taking Tums on that day?
Oh, I don't know. When you're camping, I feel like if you've camped enough.
Okay, well, camping, that's kind of a different...
Oh, but I've done this at home. Let's be clear.
You don't even have a roof. The rules are out the window.
Yeah, I mean, at that stage, basically my only rule is don't get chili involved. Because a chili dog for breakfast, for some reason, feels like jumping the chasm. You know, you've broken through the fourth wall some way.
Bro, we're just going to go there. We're going to let everybody know that we're about to talk about poop, so.
Oh, jeez. You brought it up and not me.
I know, but I got to talk about it.
Buy a lottery ticket.
I have only, until the time we went camping last summer, I had only camped in places that had bathrooms, so not like true camping. And then this is one of those, like, bring a shovel and dig yourself a hole.
Bury it.
Well, yeah. I'm a very poop shy person. I go at home or a toilet I know, like maybe the hotel. If I'm staying at a hotel, I gotta have a home potty to use. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
I'm not just...
Ashley's the same way.
The people, when you're out in public, you're just letting it fucking fly. I'm like, the confidence on these people. I don't understand. But So I was having some serious anxiety and was really battling myself about having to fucking drop a deuce in the woods. But I was like, all right, well, digging's pretty cool. So the shovel part kind of won me over.
Yeah, feel manly now.
Take the shovel, get in position, and it flopped right onto my shorts.
That's pretty funny.
it was bad news. It was immediate relief turned into even more panic.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to feel like maybe this is how we tell the story about...
Now, did it drape over the waistband of the shorts in the same way like a wet napkin would hang over the ring apron at a WrestleMania event? Where it's getting both sides? Because one side versus the other, it's like you can kind of shimmy your way out of that, but... When the shit is over the waistband,
no, there was a bit of a slingshotting that happened with it because it only went over the one waistband, so I kind of had to like try to yank it so it would fly.
Oh, see, I pictured you pulling your panties back like you were a lady peeing against a tree. So I think I've got the right idea.
Yeah. All right. If you're fast forwarding poop talk complete, but should we just talk about what happened on that trip?
Corpse car?
Corpse car?
Car
yeah.
corpse?
Are we
I
finally
suppose
going to get into it with the government? And
yeah, I don't know how funny this is going to be. But
I don't know, but we've teased it so many times, I feel like. All right, so Cole and I wanted to go camping with our significant others, and there was no camp spaces left. And Katie's like, well, I know this place out in the woods, which is always a bad starter.
No, well, the worst
I know
starter.
this place out in the woods.
So you start from Everett.
Yeah,
Stop!
yeah,
No,
nope.
no.
But instead we were like, yeah, sure, let's go check it out.
Yeah.
So it's up I kind of
Mountain Loop Highway, brother.
Yeah, let's just do the details. We got to put some pressure on the cops here to get this solved. No. So we go find the spot, and it's like, I don't know, it's kind of cleared out in a weird, like it looks like it could have semi-trucks almost, like going through these trees if you went back far enough. But there's this nice little camp spot with a few like campfires next to a river right across from a park that was booked up for the whole summer. And we were able to drive around the barriers, and we parked down there, and we were camping. Katie and I got there first. We went on a walk, and we've been there for 10 minutes. I'm 3 beers in. And we go on this walk, and we are like deep in the woods, and I come across this, I don't know, I want to say like 18, 19-year-old girl who like sees us and then turns and runs away. And I'm like, that was fucking spooky. We should also turn and run away. And
but
so
then you'd be running towards what she's. Now you're going to be chasing her. Well, shit, I'm running your direction. The fuck's back there?
It wasn't murder. It was a misunderstanding. So I was like, well, we should start walking the other direction. This is fucked up. And so we walk a little bit further because Katie was like, no. And I see the girl like peek out from behind a rock. I'm like, something fucking weird is happening. We should go. But instead of calling the cops or being like, maybe we shouldn't camp here, we're like, that was weird. And then we just set up our tent like it wasn't a super weird encounter.
In fairness, I would have just immediately assumed, oh, it's a bad acid trip. You know, don't eat the mushrooms you find.
Yeah, right.
Do some research. Talk to your guy Glenn first.
Right, we're pretty deep in the woods, though. And it's me, Katie, and now this just random terrified person running around in the woods. And so we set up camp like you do when something scary like that happens.
Yeah.
You guys get there a little bit late, or no, the next day. We're getting pretty drunk, and we're out in the middle of, I don't even know what to describe.
I'm going to circle back really quick. I'm not pretty drunk. I am shit-faced.
And Ashley almost fell into dinner.
Oh, yeah. No, well, she was walking around with a paper plate with a hot dog on it that was oscillating like 70 degrees as she walked, and I was like, no, wait, no! And then I just see it kind of get launched
And
off.
Moose is just like,
yeah. Please launch that off of the makeshift diving board into my mouth. But yeah, I was obliterated until we felt a pressure wave of
well,
sorts.
it was just really weird. We're in this like, just when I say we're in the woods, we're deep in the wilderness, but there's still like people around. This is like kind of Ruby Ridge-ish. Like there's just random spare gunshots happening. But I do remember it like 10 p.m. there was a gunshot, and I was like, this is a bit late for guns. And then
Speak for yourself.
30 minutes later, we just feel this pressure, like it felt like a bomb went off. And I even remember saying, because this is when shit was kicking off with Russia, and this is not that good, but it's on the record, so I might as well admit to it. I was like, looks like Russia finally got us. Just a dumb, fucking, stupid, I'm hammered joke for
They
nobody.
can't take Kiev, but by God, they're on Mountain Loop Road by Everett, Washington.
And so I'm like, oh, that was weird, explosion, whatever. And we just kind of go back to drinking. 2 minutes later, we look over. There's a 30-foot high flame. And people are like screaming, and it's a car on fire. There's trees. We're like a super wooded area. It's super dry.
It's also a road that doesn't go all the way through.
True.
So on Mountain Loop Road, the only way out is the way that you came in.
About 45 minutes back to even cell service. And
so if the burning shit is between you and wherever you came from,
yeah, you're kind of fucked.
Good luck.
So immediately I start thinking forest fire, and I can't fucking drive. Thank God Katie was pregnant and not drinking, so we had a DD. So I was like, Katie, get in the Bronco. It was so fucking sick. We get in there. I'm in the passenger seat, and we fly out onto the road, and Steppenwolf comes on, you know, bam, 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 bam. We start flying down the road. We get to the fire, and we're like, is everybody okay? And they're like, we don't know. There might be somebody in there. These people are like blocked in. The fence, the only entry and exit into this place, this car is parked in front of, totally up in flames. So Katie and I have to drive. We call the fire department, and they come, and they put the car out. Nothing
End of
interesting.
story, right? That
Right.
should be open and shut case. Pretty bad podcast segment, if you ask me.
Right. Oh,
Except-
but it's not over. The next morning, I'm notorious for sleeping in much more than Katie, and she's notorious for being a bitch about it. No, she always gives me shit about it. It's like, you know, I get it. And so she, after we had made numerous jokes, like, watch, there's going to be a body in the trunk or something, she comes up the next morning. She's like, yeah, there's a body in the back seat. And I was like, okay, I'll be up in 10 minutes. All right, this is...
Yeah.
I'm not in the mood
breakfast
for
burritos are close.
yeah,
I
I'm
hear
not
you.
in the mood for jokes right now. She's like, no, seriously, there's a body in the back seat. And I'm like, no fucking way. But, you know, maybe I should trust the nurse that I know to be able to identify a dead body or the scent of burning flesh. So I'm like, no, I got to see it for myself, as if I would know any fucking better. And, yeah, dead, burned body in the back of the car. And
Nice work, fire department.
right. And
She put it out.
the worst part was Katie went there twice, didn't see it the first time. She went back another time because she was like walking moose
Well,
around, basically.
I believe, just to circle back really quick, that she was alerted by the person at the campsite that was blocked in, running down our driveway
Right.
with tears in his eyes, screaming, "There's a body over there," which commitment to the bit.
If there's not one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Yeah, so then the second time Katie goes back, there's what I can only describe as a local eccentric there. And he's like picking metal off the car so he can recycle it.
Yeah,
We found out later so he could pay his rent, even though he's being evicted anyway. Anyway, we're too far down that path already. And so he's like, oh, I didn't even see that. I was like, yeah, well, okay, that's not going to hold up in court.
Well,
There's
yeah,
your
because-
fingerprints are all over this car now.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking for scrap metal. All I saw was that trachea that looked like lasagna.
Right. That is like that was
Immediately looked past it.
that was the identifiable thing for me. Is that definitely is what happens to your trachea when you get burned to death. Looks like lasagna. So hopefully you're eating lasagna right now.
Should we go back to the poop bit?
Should we go back to the poop bit? Yeah. So anyway, we have to talk to the cops, and I tell them the whole story, including my embarrassing fucking Russian joke. That's on the record somewhere. That's like somebody had to transcribe that.
No, it's on the record if, in theory, the police department out there didn't burn all records of those conversations. They have tried to erase this person from existing. I have Googled car corpse, Mountain View, Mountain Loop Road, some combination of shitty keywords like 1,000 times.
Well, they also told us like, oh yeah, we'll make a press release.
Yeah,
about
you'll
this
see
on
something
Monday.
about it tomorrow. Fucking
Yeah.
liars.
Never.
Yeah. What kind of Beetlejuice ass town is this?
Right. It just never live in Granite Falls, Washington, because if you get thrown in the back of a car and burned to death, nobody cares.
Should have paid your meth fucking debt.
We're going to have to cut that whole thing.
Probably.
It was crazy. Just back to the Tinderella questions.
What breakfast food do you think is the most bullshit?
This is not going to be a popular answer, but I'm just going to say waffles. Overrated as fuck, man. They're overrated. They're just kind of like hard. I don't know. There's nothing really there for me. It's
Pancakes figured it out.
Pancakes are it. And I argue with so many people about this, but my thing is always like waffles just taste like what you put on them, and even that, it's just like you got to make sure you get a perfect bite. Like you got to stab the piece of banana and then stab your piece of waffle. You can cook the banana into the pancake, and it's fucking excellent. You can't do that with a waffle. It just gets burned to shit.
Yeah. See, for me, it's when I deal with the anxious part of my brain that's like trying to geometrically cut my waffle properly. And then the other part of my brain that drank 21 shots of gin the night before and trying to decide what part of that anxiety is going to give me a heart attack first. But for me, the most bullshit breakfast food, hands down, omelet. It's bullshit. Because you could take all the shit in an omelet, put it on the side, fry up 2 eggs, have a perfectly good time. An omelet's like a cooking trick. And by trick, I mean it's a good way to get me into having 6 eggs on my plate. I've never eaten 6 eggs in one sitting in my life. Why the fuck would I do it now at a Denny's? Today's not the day. For especially like you go to a Beth's Cafe or something, and I love it. I have eaten many meals there at 4 a.m, 3 sheets to the wind. But 12-egg omelet on a bed of hash browns?
God.
I mean, that's just cartoonish.
Well, and your body can only process like what?
2 embryos,
30
3 at a time.
grams of protein at a time before you start shitting yourself.
Yeah.
12 egg. Oh, it came up again. 12 egg omelet.
Welcome to the show.
Shitting your pants.
Yeah. So for me, that's number one. Not because anything is wrong with what's going on there. It's just a bullshit invention. Just like a waffle is like a bullshit version of a pancake. This is a bullshit version of
squares to hold the syrup. It's perfect.
Because I can't eat stuff with a fork and knife and like gravy on it. I need syrup traps. I need things to hold my liquids in. All right, Chris. I wanted to ask you about foreign accent syndrome. Do you have it?
Absolutely have that. I don't know what it is, but
it should be explained to the viewers.
So foreign accent syndrome is like when you go someplace and you end up talking like the people there. Mm-hmm. So, for example,
like when Madonna married Guy Ritchie, she had a British accent for like 2 years.
When that happens to me, if I watch British TV for too long, if I watch only British TV for like a couple weeks, I just start using British slang and shit. Like I've never said knackered in my life outside of when I was.
All of a sudden, the elevator's the lift. Bullshit.
But like, whenever I go to Wisconsin, I can go any place. If I'm there for a couple weeks, I'm going to come back with the accent. East Coast, I'll come back with the accent. If I go to Wisconsin for 3 days, all of a sudden I'll be watching a Brewers game. I'll be like, oh, come on, no way. Jeez Louise, whoopsie-daisy.
I also like the
cow.
idea of saying no way like that when a guy grounded into a double play. Like, yes way. Very much yes way. This is not that unconventional. It's just fucking annoying. I used to work at a grocery store in Queen Anne. There was a guy from Scotland that lived down the street and was a customer. And he'd go back home for like 8 weeks at a time. And before the trips, I could understand him. After the trips, came back with like an incredibly embedded
into it.
Yeah, so circling back to your point, I think that's like you've got the Scotty in you. You've got the homeland in you.
Yeah.
And so it takes like 48 hours for you to just fully dive back in. All right, what is the worst thing you've ever done with a water balloon?
I was thinking about this. There's a lot of people who have like peed in water balloons, thrown them at people, whatever.
I even think that's a myth. What is your kidney strength? What's your bladder strength like? Like, there's that point of resistance, that angle of repose.
Or you're just getting somebody with a tiny little ding-dong, wrapping it around the whole thing and letting them
I'm just saying, if you've got like 3 ounces of piss in a water, you're gonna have to pelt somebody to get that thing to pop. You're gonna have to fucking, you're gonna have to Randy Johnson that thing in there.
Or you just got to pass it around the circle, let everybody take a little bit of a whiz in there.
Even if the last guy's
Although you're really playing with fire. As soon as it gets a little too full, it's blowing on somebody's shoes, and that's a real disaster.
Well, and you've got to, there's a point where the urine force has to outweigh the force of the liquid coming back. Look, you'll learn this in Physics 201. We're in the U District. You can absolutely ask your professor.
I wish we talked about this in those classes.
Yeah, exactly.
Worst thing I did
Thermodynamics.
with a water balloon. I had this foreign exchange student from Denmark my senior year in high school. I was so annoyed by it, too. Because I remember summer's winding down. I'm going into my senior year, and my mom's like, we're going to have a foreign exchange student. I'm like, oh, great. Give me some fucking nerd from another country who's just coming here to be a nerd. I don't know. I had a weird thing about foreign exchange students. I was like, it's going to be a nerd. I don't want to have some fucking book learner in my house. It's my senior year. I'm trying to party. And he shows up, and he's fucking awesome. And immediately we're into trouble. We used to drive around the neighborhood at, like, midnight. And this is when all, like, the Seattle PI, we probably put the Seattle PI out of business because they would deliver their papers the night before, and not long after they delivered them, we'd go and pick them up. Like, we would get our cardio zigzagging across the driveways, picking up the newspapers and stealing them all. And then we left them all on one person's porch at the end of this all.
Gotcha.
Once
Come
my
back
trunk,
from this one,
once
dude.
my trunk was full, we also put traffic cones and whatever else we could find that people had left out. Like, somebody went to let the dog out in the morning and was like, what in the fuck? You can't even recycle that much. It was too much. They probably had to go to the dump.
See, I never trusted the concept of foreign exchange students because we couldn't host one. They would never let it, like, how many cigarette burns are in your couch? Well,
Also, who did we exchange?
Yeah,
what are we losing here?
yeah, exactly. Are you getting the fish? Because you don't get the fish.
Player to be named later. But
Yeah.
so we realized he was into mischief pretty quick. It's one thing he really wanted to do. I still don't know why. He had a fascination with getting bottles of ketchup and mustard and driving past cars on the road and squirting them on them. He really wanted to do this. I mean, I'm telling you, I had to talk him down from this.
Yeah.
And we settled on water balloons. I was like, we'll go drive and we'll just kind of fucking huck balloons at
A little
other
less
cars.
likely to get shot. Yeah.
Right. Pretty dangerous, though, just dropping something on somebody's windshield. Anyway, I'm driving up 124th in Kirkland, and I'm driving, too, which makes this even more impressive to me, but it doesn't make me feel any less bad about it. It's like 10:30 at night. This guy's walking uphill. He's at least 2.5 miles away from the nearest grocery store. He's got like 6 bags. He's trudging uphill with his bags, and I launch this balloon. Fucking drill him.
That is so cruel.
It's still so funny, but it's still like I feel so bad that what are the odds I actually nailed him? Of all my throws, there was no chance I could have fucking hit him.
Yeah, I completely understand. So I've never, like I said, I'm a boring person, and I think I spent my whole life not trying to become my parents, and so that involved, like, I don't know if hitting this cop car with his water balloon is going to do it, but I don't want to end up on the Mike path. But when I was 16, I was at, God, makes me sound really cool. I was at a journalism camp in Ellensburg. Scenic Ellensburg, Washington, at Central Washington
Because
University.
that's where all the journalism happens.
Yeah. And we went there and didn't do a lot of journalism.
Did a lot of drugs.
No, this journalism camp? Yeah, dude. Yeah, we're doing fucking foilies. But, like, second day, we walked to the Fred Meyer, because they tell all of us you can't go off campus. It's like, we've already been going off campus for 2 years at our high school in Ballard. I'm absolutely leaving this place. I'm leaving your campus. I'm going to the Fred Meyer, and we bought a bunch of water balloons, among other things. And my buddy Rafi, shout out to Rafi, the guy who came up with potentially historic bricks.
Nice.
The first water balloon he throws, and he's one of those guys that's, annoyingly athletic and good at everything, like probably just great at darts. I played darts with him like twice. I'm sure he's dope. But Yeah, he sees this car coming, launches it, and he doesn't even think he's going to hit it. And it just completely perfectly drills the windshield. So then we've got to, like, hide out for a half hour. But all right, Chris. I got skins.
So we were talking about how we just had bits in, I don't know. I had a bunch of bits coming up. I was always doing a bit. When I was in junior high, I thought it was really funny in PE. Anytime the teacher would announce what we were doing that day, it would be like pickleball. And I'd be like, I got skins, and I'd take my shirt off. Always crushed. But the problem was I was just a big fucking sweaty guy, so they always had to like wash the floor after because I was just dripping on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no shirt to catch it.
I guess this guy's getting easy points in the key. Nobody wants to touch him.
Right. But it reminded me of my first dance I ever went to in junior high, 7th grade. I didn't go with a girl. I went with just a bunch of my buddies. And I was a hyperactive kid. Sweat be damned. I was always running around. And at one point, I was not really paying attention to the fact that I was sweating. But I was wearing like kind of a nicer shirt. It was kind of thin. Somebody comes up to me and they're like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I was like, "What happened?" And they're like, "You're back." I was like, "What?" They're like, "Did you get axed?" And I guess this was a thing where people would like come up to you with a bottle of Axe and just spray the fuck out of you or something. It was sweat. I'll tell you that now. I'll tell you that I would just sweat all the way through my fucking
Listen,
shirt.
kid, how do you not smell the difference?
Right. 7th graders are dumbasses. And so I was like, yeah, I did. And so then,
Whoopsie daisies.
thinking this is settled, they go tell the vice principal, who was like watching over the whole dance, right? And he comes over, and he's the sweetest guy. I used to wear a jersey to school every single day, kind of like how I do on the podcast. Every single day, different jersey. And I remember one day I rolled up in a Earl Campbell Houston Oilers jersey, and he was just like, yeah. So no,
way better than Joey Corey yesterday.
Yeah, Joey Galloway, come on. And whenever I'd get off the bus in the morning, he'd always be like, "When are we going to see that Campbell jersey?" Like, he always said something to me. Anyway, so he comes up to me, and he's like, "They told me that somebody like sprayed you with Axe or something." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, well, let's go in the locker room." And he like was helping me dry off my shirt, but he had to fucking know, because I'm sure he was putting it together as an adult. Like, this doesn't smell like Axe.
Yeah.
This fucking fat kid's sweaty.
Yeah.
That's all this is. This is all a whole, yeah. So anyway, that was that whole story.
I do like the I got skins bit, because if I recall times where somebody would be like, "All right, who wants to read page like 24 of Huck Finn?"
I got skins.
I got skins, baby.
I ripped my shirt off.
Breakaway pants. Tom Sawyer's gonna whitewash this fence. Chris, does anybody ever tell you you're not fat?
Dude, all the time. All the time. It drives me nuts, because I am, and it's okay. I don't care. I'm fine.
And to clarify, it's not apropos.
Well, I mean,
of
I'm pre-diabetic, and I'm probably going to die 20 years early, but otherwise it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not that worried. I guess what I'm
That
saying
puts me
is,
well inside the bell curve of a normal American.
every time it happens to me, it's always something like I walked up a flight of stairs, 2 flights of stairs. I'm out of breath, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm fat. There's always somebody like, "Oh, you're not. No, you're not. You're not fat." Fuck you. Don't lie to me. You think I'm stupid? You think I'm stupid and fat, you son of a bitch? You're going to fucking lie to me right now like I've never seen a mirror.
Well, and also I've got enough empirical evidence, you know. How many chairs have you broken in your life?
Right, dude. I seriously... How many chairs have you broken in your life?
I mean, I'm not keeping numbers here because I'm not trying to make myself
But you've broken
sad.
a chair.
Keeping track of how many chairs you break is like counting the days with your fingernails on the wall of the well that you've been thrown into, okay? This is something to only remind you of how bleak your life has become.
Oh, God. I've only completely broken, 1 chair.
What do you mean completely broken? Like all 4 legs blow out like an elephant?
Exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. It was one of those, like, those chairs. We were at the beach. Staying in a condo by the beach, and it was like out on the patio. And it was like one of those ones that's meant to look like one of those fancy like wood chairs, like recliny kind of.
Oh, like an Adirondack type chair or something.
That's a word I've never heard, but sure. Something like that. People are probably picturing what I'm talking about. You see it in the fucking sandals ads or whatever. But one of those chairs, but it's plastic. Now, I was like, all right, well, I want to sit out here and stare at the beach and have breakfast. So I sit in the chair, very quickly realizing getting out is going to be an ordeal.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I go to get out, and really the only way that I can get myself out, because it kind of like, you're kind of at an angle. Like, you got to pick your ass up super far. I can't just, like, lean forward and get out of this chair.
Right.
I had to brace myself on the arms, and I pushed down on the arms. All the legs went out. Fucking thing snapped. Fell onto my ass. And this was at an Airbnb, so I also had to explain it.
Yeah.
And get charged for a chair that I've since been back to that Airbnb. They didn't even buy again. So they're just like, all right, tab for fatty, $60.
Well, win some, you lose some. You know, that chair was talking to the other chairs and was like, guys, tell me you didn't go out this way. You know,
Yeah.
A lot of athletes get forced into retirement.
Right, we're playing musical chairs, and you know every chair's like, not him, not him, not. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
This is it. This is how I die.
This is how I get the Theismann
But yeah,
leg.
there's certain chairs I won't sit. So now I see a plastic chair, I'm like, I'll stand. Like, I'm not.
My whole thing is anytime I see a wooden chair that looks like it was part of some small child's tea set or something, where it's like impossibly rickety, and always the legs are at like a 30-degree,
Right.
or I
legs
should
aren't
say more
straight.
like a 60. They're not straight.
They're halfway to breaking.
Yeah, they are just, they're all poking towards the fat ass that is eventually going to drive through
Yeah.
the whole fucking
Oh, that
enterprise.
and wicker. I won't sit in wicker. It sounds like it's breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard no on the wicker. No wicker, no plastic. Depends on the wood. Why? It should just all be benches.
Yeah.
Just benches.
I need something sturdy. Don't give me arms to break off. Keep it simple. All right. Jesus, I have to piss. Okay.
Go piss.
Do you still have the P key? Do you
Oh,
have the
yeah.
P key?
Pinky, baby.
How much time do we have, by the way, Nolan?
You got 20 minutes?
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's wild. Son, dead body. That's real?
What's even more wild is that's like 5 minutes or we're gonna have to cut.
So, I didn't hear the beginning of this. So, you saw the fire the night before, or you heard an explosion?
We heard an explosion, we all looked, and then like a couple minutes later we saw the fire. It was like 30 feet.
So you basically watched a man burn to death.
Yeah.
Like
I think it was a woman. It was a pretty small body. And that was the only reason I told the story about seeing that girl running around in the woods like afraid, is because I think it's related. And then hearing a gunshot kind of late at night, and then a half hour later somebody just disposes of a car and a body.
Oh, we think it's a murder. And
Yeah.
the disposal of the body.
Oh, the body in the back was like kind of like this, like its head was kind of crooked because it was pushed up against the door. This person was either still alive and pushing and trying to get out, or was just thrown in.
Have you ever seen a dead body before then?
Not in person.
Me neither.
Well, that's not true. I saw a dead body one time, but that wasn't even up close. Okay, I've seen a couple dead bodies, yeah, but not like that. That was fucked.
That's gnarly, man.
It was gnarly. I could still smell it. That smell, man,
There
of
was a
burnt
smell?
flesh.
I was gonna ask, was there a smell?
Yeah,
Oh.
big time.
I had a couple friends in high school that stumbled upon a dead body, just like in Ballard, you know, smoking weed or whatever. Don't even know if it was like somebody killed the guy, but they were like, oh shit, we gotta go. Like, the cops are gonna care that you're smoking weed when you're next to a corpse.
Dude, I would be the grossest dead body. I've thought about this so many times. I feel so bad for whoever finds me. It's gonna fuck up somebody's day.
Yeah.
They're just gonna be like, God damn it, he's fat and hairy. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I have to give myself a courtesy flush, so I can't imagine what the final bowel movement's gonna be like. But
are we recording? Oh shit! All right, we got all that.
all right, Chris, what happened to all the 1930s last names?
Dude, I can't figure that out. We've kind of like gotten rid of all the Charleses and all those kind of funny first names, just kind of naturally. You can just stop naming your kids that. But at some point you keep passing down names, right? Like, where are all the McGillicuddies? Where are the Arbuckles and the Fitzgeralds? What happened to these people?
If you believe in reincarnation, it turns out if you died a McGillicuddy, you just come back as like a hyphenated name, something 21st century.
And in Ohio.
Maurice Jones Drew. All right, I guess that's your name now. On that topic, I do think that there's probably a direct correlation between the downfall of those names and the downfall of the British Empire. Like, you can connect the dot between McGillicuddy no longer being a name and Hong Kong being returned to China. There's absolutely... I know that line is there. Now I'm just trying to think of other bits that involve me talking about the fall of the British Empire. Like, all right, man, one day you've got the last name Up the Grove and you've got the Suez Canal, and then the next day kaput.
Up the Grove, like, really lazy with that one.
Oh, yeah.
What should we call him? I don't know. He lives up the Grove. Just fucking go with that. Who cares? All the other ones were like jobs, although I don't know where the fuck McGillicuddy came from. What is a McGillicuddy?
Like some sort of antiquated term for an arrow maker. Oh, yeah, McGillicuddy. Yeah, I know those guys.
Classic.
So stupid. Chris, tell me about how sharing a bed with Kendall's going.
Oh, God. We're still bed sharing right now, which means that Kendall's sleeping in our bed. And
when's that supposed to... What's the timeline on that?
My whole thing is people are like, well, you should start sleep training, get your baby in a crib, and if they start crying, just ignore it, and they'll figure it out. No, they won't. They literally are not. They have not evolved enough to figure it out.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that one of the things babies are worst at is figuring it out.
Yeah. So it drives me nuts. I basically told Katie, like, I don't care how long she's in her bed. Like, she just needs to be happy and developing, and I don't really care. So anyway, she sleeps in her bed, but the problem is, she's not that big, but she sleeps with her arms straight out like fucking Christ the Redeemer. So I've got,
rocking the starfish pose on the diagonal. I
got no space in bed whatsoever. She's just taking up a twin bed in the middle of our king. It's fucking, it's insane. But it's also kind of cute.
I mean, yeah, I can't totally relate, but Ashley insists on having Rusty sleep on the bed. And that guy is all sticks. He is all angles.
Right.
Everything on him is an elbow or a fucking just femur bone. There's no cuddly anything.
Oh, the other funny thing about sleeping next to a baby is there's really just, I mean, Katie's already got some toots happening, but baby farts, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Out of control.
They don't have that much capacity. I mean,
bro, you'd
out.
think she would explode with some of the things that are coming out. Right? Do not understand the air pressure coming out of this
That is
kid.
a grown man
The
fart.
PSI is just nuts.
Yeah, I heard that fart at a Henry Weinhard's in the Midwest. Not from my daughter, who's 6 months old.
The other funny thing is, like, so she just wakes up to breastfeed in the middle of the night, and I've never seen somebody, maybe other than you, I've never seen somebody barf so casually. She'll just be sitting there looking me dead in the eye and be like, bleh, and just falls out of her head like, whoa, bro. No warning. You didn't even go, you didn't even erp once. You didn't even give me a chance.
Honestly, the most I've ever identified with a baby. So you got to do what you got to do. You got to boot and rally, man. How much are you going to get? Look, that tit milk.
I think it's boob and rally for her.
That milk and that vomit, it's the same passageway, all right? So you got to make some calls and you got to clear some space. Yeah, I mean, I'll take that compliment. I like being compared to a baby in this regard because I don't like taking shots, but I will always take them. How I feel be damned. And then I will probably puke outside somewhere, especially if it's whiskey. I just do not have it in me to do a shot of
I can't do whiskey. You're very peer pressurable, though, especially when you're drinking. I've made you take so many shots of tequila you didn't want to take.
Yeah, for sure. But tequila's an easier one, you know. And Jameson I can get down, but somebody's like got a shot of bourbon. Like, oh my God. I'm already. I don't care how this even looks or sounds. I'll drink, but that is just not one that's going to sit with me. But yeah, I think at your bachelor party, I managed to puke and rally in a good sub 10 seconds.
Like I've never seen. You puked and rallied between the cab getting there and all the rest of us being in the cab. Like you just went, you're like, yeah, hold on, and then you were back.
I call
in
that
the
a
car.
window of opportunity.
No problem. It was incredible.
On the topic of Ubers, have you ever fallen asleep in one?
It sounds like you have a story, Cole.
Oh, I've fallen asleep in a dozen Ubers.
I've never fallen asleep in an Uber, but I also just have trouble sleeping. And I always end up talking like, I just get fascinated by like the only people, we're going to have to cut this probably too. The only people who are driving Uber at fucking 3 a.m. are somebody who like just moved here from Africa and needs money because they can't get another job. I'm always fascinated to hear what their life is
In
like.
fairness, the speed freaks can also, need money. But yeah,
I'm over
right.
here talking to Kabir big time. I'm definitely trying to figure out what his life is like. So no, I couldn't fall asleep. It's fascinating.
When I'm in an Uber, I too wonder what led us both to this moment. How did we get here? I was thinking that too.
Oh, I know how I got here.
Till we meet again.
Tequila get you here too, or
Actually, my religion prohibits me from drinking. Nah, you get it. This
guy.
That's a good bit, dude.
That's a good way to get out of shots.
Chris, do you believe in aliens?
I do believe in aliens, but anytime I hear somebody say that they believe in aliens, I automatically think they're insane.
Yeah.
Like I
for
cannot I can admit it, but if somebody else admits it, I'm like, you're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Clearly lost your marbles.
You need somebody else at the table to like admit they're a virgin or that they believe JFK wasn't killed by a lone gunman for you to be like, oh fuck, I found one. Thank God. I was a man in a desert with no water, and you brought it to me.
There has to be. I mean, what we think are aliens, who knows? But there's got to be something else, right?
Certainly. But anybody that believes in that and tells you that in public...
Tell me slugs aren't aliens. They're definitely aliens. If I'm thinking of things that are alien, slugs, snails, eels...
This is actually a fascinating concept because everybody assumes, like, all right, any alien that comes to our planet has got all this other technological
They're
shit
going to be
figured
green. They're going to have weird eyes.
Yep, they're going to bomb us to bejesus and back. Now, I think that...
Now it turns out they're just dogs.
I like the idea of aliens that have figured out, like, intergalactic travel, but are also... Like, haven't got any of the other... Don't have electricity. The slugs landed their spaceship, and they're like, shit, man.
We
I'll
still
look
have
for
a
water.
solution for them pouring salt on us? Fuck.
All right, guys, this is gonna be a long con. I'll say that right now. This one's gonna take some time.
Some of us are going to die.
Since we were talking earlier about my lovely cousin buying some koozies from us, and I don't know what you charged her for shipping and handling, but you and I both buy records. You know, we experience sometimes the crazy shipping costs.
Just lie to me about it. Lie to me about it is what I've come down to. Don't tell me how much shipping costs. It's bananas. If I'm going to spend $100 on a record, right? If you tell me it's $80 with $20 shipping, fuck you to the moon. $90, $10 shipping? Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say
$100
$95.
free shipping? Free shipping?
It's
You
like
get
they're
something
giving
for
it away.
free. Yeah, it's like you're giving it away. Exactly. Lie to me. Just lie to me. Don't tell me $20 for shipping. You're basically saying I'm going to fuck you this hard. It makes me so mad anytime somebody, like, I was looking at something on eBay. I don't know. I don't even remember what it was. And it wasn't that big. It wasn't going to cost a bunch of money to ship, but it was an expensive thing that would normally cost, let's say, $600. It was listed for $300. So I'm like, holy shit. Shipping, $300. I've never wanted to burn somebody's houses to the ground faster. I was so fucking mad. Lie to me. Lie to my face.
That's almost like a gotcha because I don't believe that anything costs $300 to ship. I sent my brother a box in Hawaii. It didn't cost that much to ship. Like, where is this going? Antarctica? Or are you going to the fucking McMurdo station?
Right.
There's no way.
You better be shipping a house. That could cost $300.
All right, Chris. I think this is our final thing on our agenda today. Gucci or Greasy Cinnabon related products?
I gotta say greasy, man. I mean, I think Cinnabon itself is kind of greasy. It's not even a. They had to come up with a different name because even just like regular cinnamon bun, people were like, "That's a bit much."
No, you're gonna literally have to create a new word.
Yeah, it's a
You're gonna have
bit
to carve out your
diabetic
niche
for
in
me.
the dictionary.
And now they're like, I don't know, you need coffee creamer that makes you think of getting diabetes on your way home from the airport. Okay, I think we can cut it with the Cinnabon related items.
My introduction to Cinnabon was through like wrestling as a kid, and wrestling when you're a kid it's a bit of a zoo. Like, first of all, you're asking like 8-year-olds to make weight. It's like, bro, you're supposed to be 65 pounds. You're 67. What were you doing? It's like,
There's Snickers at home.
yeah, I'm being 8. I'm 4'4". I'm working on it.
Sorry, I had a growth spurt, you son of a bitch.
But we do things like my brother and I would get there in the morning, make weight because you weigh in like 7 a.m. on the Saturday.
Then you go crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my introduction to Cinnabon was like the post weigh-in pre-wrestling. some neighborhood dad is like, "You guys ever heard of Cinnabon?" Like,
Oh my god, that's so funny. I was always on the upper side of my age class in terms of weight for football, and so I was always like really close to not making weight. So they had to give me like fake shoulder pads where they only left the top layer of the pads to weigh me in because you had to weigh in uniform.
oh,
And so they would give me this real flimsy fucking NFL punter uniform.
yeah. I was gonna say, were you wearing like the Michael Bennett pads?
Yeah,
Like-
right. And it was one of those things where it was like if you were within a pound, they would kind of look the other way. And there were so many times it was like 2 pounds over, and like while I'm wearing this shit, and they're like, "All right, we'll let you go." And meanwhile, I haven't eaten since like lunch the day before, and I'm like, "I need a Snickers now."
Yeah, I made weight for state when I was 13 by not eating for 2 days. So it's not the most
God.
healthy,
Oh,
know,
God.
concept.
Yeah,
but
and then you need your strength
I
to
won.
wrestle.
I
Oh,
won state.
oh
So
God,
funny.
your penis is so big,
That's
so big.
so alarmingly average.
Well, it's probably smooth.
And it's
or
a
something.
grower. No,
It's
no.
not
There's
even
nothing-
smooth. It's bumpy.
It's-
You got an average.
How good are you at reading Braille?
So herpes.
That's
You have herpes on your bumpy average wiener. This was an interesting.
your
end
cock
to
says
this.
grapefruit juice. Look, man, I don't decide how the Braille spells out. Okay.
Your cock says, "Please don't touch."
Yeah, wrestling when you'd weigh in too. Like there was one time I distinctly remember where my brother was 0.2 over. He was trying to make 65 pounds, and you got an hour after you weigh in. So he like runs around.
65 pounds.
So he runs around the gym, takes a shit. He ends up he weighs in and only his boxers and socks. He's still 0.1 over. He throws his socks off and just cleared it.
Oh my God.
Distinctly remember that one.
65 pounds.
He's a little man.
That
Well,
was
you
like
met him.
first grade for me.
Well, in fair, this was like he was 3rd or 4th grade at this point.
Oh God, that is crazy.
Yeah.
That's not even a weight people can be. Even now, Kendall's like 17 pounds. Like, pfft. Just
See
wait
you next
200
week, dude.
pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. when
Wait
you-
till I make stuffing one night. It'll all be over, kid. One baked macaroni and cheese.
Well, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Second Lunch Podcast. We got Hot Nolan over here on the ones and twos. Yeah, I've been Chris Moran, your other host, Kolpy, over here. Please like and subscribe. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, kind of, and the YouTube machine. Wherever you're listening to us on that too. I don't know. Just keep checking us out. We appreciate you listening. We have koozies as well, some merch available if you're looking for another way to support us. But the best way is to just keep on listening, and thank you guys again. Love you a lot.
Blammo.